Welcome to the second scene. I'm just going to paint out briefly what we're going to be doing in this scene. Here's my initial sketch, my initial idea, a pencil sketch that I did, and basically it's a scene of a fishing boat, or in this case a tug, some type of boat going out from the sea into a harbor, and it's between a couple of harbor walls. There's buildings on the left and right, maybe some industrial stuff on the left, some housing stuff on the right, and it goes through a bridge that opens. The traffic stops. The traffic's coming from the left and the right, and it stops. We got some seagulls. We got some smoke. There's rocks at the bottom with some waves on it, and obviously the boat as it's going is churning up some water. So that was my initial sketch for the scene. And as you can see in the bottom there, I've written split, and the idea is that as this boat goes in, the background, the parts of the background split. They move, the left goes to the left, the right to the right, and it forms this illusion of actually the camera moving through the scene like this. We'll get into that in more detail later on in this video, but that was just the initial sketch. And then here's another sketch with a bit more detail on the one side. You can see the drawbridge type thing, and I've noted there it's a skeleton. It's going to be in a skeleton animation mode. So we're going to cover that in this scene. And on the back of this tug-looking boat, there's a couple of characters that are throwing some food over. It's probably going to end up being a fishing boat, so they're throwing some fish heads or whatever over. And we've got a bunch of seagulls diving in. As seagulls do, they tend to follow these fishing boats, and they're collecting all the scraps. So we're going to have some seagulls. Also top left there we have a milk van and a guy on a bicycle and a guy on a scooter, so we're going to create all that. And some lights. We've got some lights there, or some traffic lights stopping the traffic. You can see in the background we have some buildings, some housing. To the right there we have a bit more background of where this fishing boat / tug is headed. Into the actual dock we can see there's a town behind there. I've got some industrial stuff, some smokestacks. I've got a bridge with a train going over it. Maybe an old steam locomotive with some smoke. Maybe something newer. And it's quite a busy scene. So this is the end of the scene. The camera will fly through here past the boats, and it will go a little bit further into this, right up to the fishing boats tied up against the wall there. We've got guys on the left and right fishing. We've got some seals on the left and maybe on the right as well, lying about, possibly on the tires that they often have hanging on these harbour walls. We got smoke coming out of a smokestack on the left. We've got cranes. The cranes are going to be moving, some of them taking some fish or some cargo out of these boats. And right at the end there at the back we've got some people, a man and his dog. Perhaps in the background right behind all of this we have the town. So that's one of the more detailed sketches of this, and it just shows all the moving parts and how complex this can be. And I intend it to be pretty complex. Then here's an overall sketch of how I intend to break this up. We have an initial fishing boat a little bit further out to sea going in before you hit the second fishing boat, which will be in that channel. And then we've got some dolphins going from right to left or left to right, doesn't really matter. We can take those from scene 1 and adapt them to this scene. I've labeled FG foreground on the left and right, 1 and 2, left bank, right bank. And basically I'm working out how to split this up, which we'll cover now in this video. I've got middle background, I've got right background, left background, far background. I've got a bridge. I've got that bridge that spans across the town. We've got mountains on the left and right. So pretty detailed stuff, and I'm working it all out here. I've got traffic coming in on the left and the right. So let's put some color to this scene. I'm taking it into Krita, and I'm just adding some color, and I'll also break it up so that we can take it into OpenToonz and just work out this animation. Let's just render this out. This is a rough after all, and we just want to have a look at how this scene is going to look and what we're working towards. And that's a really bumpy rough of this, but hopefully you get the idea of what we are heading towards here. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of detail in this, a lot of moving parts. It's going to be quite a big scene compared to the first scene. This is going to be quite an epic scene. Lots and lots of working parts, vehicles, ships or boats, seagulls, seals, people, dogs, smoke, backgrounds, lots of moving parts in the layers that we're going to put in there. So hopefully we end up with a scene that's we're not trying to make the 3D. It would be in a way easier to do it in 3D, but we're trying to use the powers of OpenToonz, especially the multiplane powers that it has, where we can set the backgrounds and assets, etc., at different distances to the camera. We're trying to use that to give this illusion of movement and also of depth. And hopefully this scene works out like I intended to. We'll certainly work towards that. If you want the full version of this, please go check out my Animating with OpenToonz course. The links are in the description. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, please go and do that. Otherwise, thanks very much for joining my channel again, and I hope I'll see you around here again. All the best and happy animating out there.